Oh, thank you, Bootai. I'm done. Yes. 100. All 100. All 100. They're done. Everything's done. It's all done. All check boxes. Oh my god, KSI. I don't know what I'm critically insane. I'm critically insane. 95. It was 100. Why? Whatever. I'm done. Oh, the beauty of it all. Oh, it's right there. I did it. That's it. 100. And that's it. There's all the things collected. I don't know why I bought this. But yeah, I did it. I did it every single game. Every stupid game on the hunt is done. So hello everyone and welcome back to the ranking series. I'm your host, NateDog1520. I've suffered listening to your crappy FNF songs, and now I'm suffering beating over 100 hunt badges. So, without further ado, let's get into ranking every hunt game from worst to best.
I gotta play like 95 games, get 95 coins. Wait, what? I got 1 coin, that's all I got, dude. I don't wanna join this.
The egg hunt started back in 2008, though it was originally called the egg drop, as you would go into any server and eggs would drop from the sky. This wouldn't change until around 2013, where you would actually have to go around a pre-planned out map by Roblox themselves to collect different eggs. In later 2015, this was then changed to the dev hunt, which was an even more piece of crap. I do enjoy walk-in sims and also just playing games that I do not wish to play. From 2016 to 2018, they would actually have eggs scattered around the world again. I'm showing 2017 because the most beautiful egg of all time. Oh my god. Faster than light, baby! Still have it on to this day, man. In 2019, we went back to dev hunts and still people were not happy with them. And then in 2020, we ended off with an egg hunt. And we thought that would be the end of it until the newest installment of the 2024 edition, The Hunt. The Hunt is another dev hunt, but this time has over 100 games, so you have to collect at least 95 coins by completing 95 out of the 100 games. Now, just because of this, doesn't mean it can't be bad. Maybe the events are good, maybe they pick good creators. Let's see. Today I will be ranking every one of these games because I've collected all of the coins, from worst to best, and given it a 0 out of 10 ranking. Before we get into the rankings, let me just explain how the rankings are going to be based on and what to suspect from the score. So this will be ranked on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 means the game was terrible, it didn't stand out, it didn't do anything, and was actually quite annoying to get done. 5 means it was there, you played the game, that was pretty much it. 10 is, wow, they knew what they were doing, they made a really good game, and it's just incredible, something you may even go back to. And sadly, there is things that are less than 10 on this list, and I do want to apologize for that because I try not to give anything less than 0, but there is some literal car crashes of games. As you can see on screen, this is where you'll see all this stuff come up, where you'll see the rankings, where you'll see credits and everything like that. I'll be ranking it based on 5 factors. 1. Creativity. Was it similar to other games? What did it do differently? Just how did it stand out? Duration. How long was it? Was it really fast, or did it take a heck of a long time? Features. How did it use its own features in the event, or is it just a completely 100% new game? The experience. Did it affect you if you were a new player, or do veterans get an advantage? And also, how was the community within the game itself? And last but not least, the effect. Do experienced or veteran players who still play this game have any reason to get the event done themselves? Do they get a prize? Does it negatively affect them in any way possible? With all this in mind, I'm NateDog1520, and I will be ranking this stuff for eternity. Let's get into the bottom of the list. At number 100. The Strongest Battlegrounds is the only game in the not applicable category, and that's because it was removed from the hunt entirely. The game was broken, so we weren't able to actually get the badge properly. Due to this fact, I have not been able to play it, and I have no experience with the game. And I think it would be kind of unfair if I did give it any sort of ranking. Seeing how the game looks though, it does look like it would take a long time, as it would take 11 bosses to defeat, which don't even have a chance to spawn a key at some points, and with new players not knowing how the game would work, it would definitely be difficult. There is some pluses to this though. They have custom animations for collecting the key and even the final box, which a lot of games couldn't even put effort into making. So I have to say, this game had a lot of potential to either be a bad game or a very good game. But for that, I do not know, and I do not wish to play the game, as I'm not defeating 11 incredibly difficult bosses while server hopping, because I have self-respect and some self-love. I said some, not a lot. With that being said, I'm leaving it in the non-applicable category, and sadly it has to go to the bottom of the list. This doesn't mean it's the worst game of the list, because by far the next game is awful, but I can't put it any higher than the bottom because it has no actual ranking. On to the next category. I've never been so disappointed and angry at an event game in my life. This thing fails in so many categories. First off, the event is just play the game, but you have to play for a long period of time, because if you don't get to level 15, getting 2 kills will not matter. How are you supposed to figure that out? Beats the hell out of me! That's right, you must be level 15 and they will not tell you otherwise how to beat it. Did I mention this is a gacha game? So this also involves RNG, that you have to get a good fruit. You also want to make sure you don't find an experienced player who's gonna rip your entire streak away with their level 300 fruit unlocked. It's just long and tedious as well, grinding out your powers, constantly spamming them. The game itself isn't even fun. If you beat it as an experienced player, you get nothing. And also, even as an experienced player, you have to run around as these people will run for their lives because they have nothing. They can't do anything against you, so they're not gonna stand and put up a fight. This is the worst hunt game. If you can avoid it, don't play it. Livetopia is the definition of a premium member farm. It's basically 6 minutes of absolutely doing nothing. Oh guys, do you like sitting in a lake for 3 minutes? No? Well, too bad. You're sitting in a lake for 3 minutes, and if you even open chat, you gotta restart. It resets the entire timer. It doesn't give you notifications. It doesn't give you clear steps half the time. It's just a mess of an event that's just here to make a quick buck. You had so many opportunities to actually showcase your game, and you don't even do that aspect. It's really just shameless, and the only thing you get out of it that I could give any credit to is a shirt that looks like your 2-year-old finally learned how to tie-dye. I was originally gonna give this a 0 out of 10, but it just copies other games like Brookhaven anyway, so no, you're shameless. I didn't think an event could actually make me uncomfortable, but every time I joined this game, there's someone trying to tickle me. No, I don't need Bald Sniffer 65 trying to tickle me, no thank you. This game also adds nothing, even disrupts other people's RPs, which is probably for the better, because if you're actually playing this game, please just take a couple seconds and look at your recommended page. This is awful. It's just go AFK until the person needs their task and do basic mini games. There is so many better other games to play, and this deserves its -1 out of 10. Wow, another collect items game that doesn't use any mechanics. Is an RP game that's based off of Brookhaven. Wow, we're really pushing for some creativity today. This balloon is so slow. Tommy and its viewers' balls are gonna drop before we even get the 5th orb. I have to emphasize, this is a joke, by the way. But this is so unnecessary, and it's just to get a premium payout, because this game is completely shameless. It's a knockoff of games that has no creative idea, doesn't even showcase what the game's all about, has a 0 player base, because I saw no one even in the city. It is awful, and I generally hope you never come back to any egg hunt experience ever again. This is a pathetic cash grab to get premium players to keep playing, and you deserve this -1 out of 10. Lumber Simulator just wants to milk you for your premium bucks. Who would have figured? It also takes the longest, as you have to beat 2 worlds. Wow, that is so unnecessary. It's a brain rot of a game that pretty much just reuses everything, adds nothing to it besides the mere basics. And the reason why I put it below every other thing is because it takes so damn long, and you don't even do anything besides try and cheat the system or go AFK. It's just another awful game, and I hope Roblox doesn't add any more of these in, Except for one exception later down the list, which I will get into. Connor, bro, I don't know why you do this to yourself, dude. Even I probably would have gone insane, in which I did. I did go insane, but I sympathize with you, man.
Although the egg designs have mostly been praised, there have been a few notable concerns.
Oh, great! Another brain rot simulator. I love spending 15 minutes doing absolutely nothing but AFK grinding. This is only up here because it adds a little bit more than the previous things, and at least it's faster. It's super unclear though, and I think it deserves its placement as the lowest on the 0 out of 10 list for being nothing but a carbon copy of the previous simulators. Roblox picking a non-similar game that takes 5 hours, challenge impossible. Another simulator game where you play the game and you have to get to stage 20, which is so unnecessary. They add nothing to the game, you get nothing unique, you just play the game until stage 20. Yeah, this is why you're at the bottom of the list, because you've done nothing. It's so fast to explain the event. Oh great, another military tycoon where you also collect crates, but this time they just spawn randomly, and also there's enemies jutted all around the map that just makes it no fun. Also, there's no animation, the VIPs were even rude to me, and honestly, if you can skip this one, I would not blame you. It's an easy one, I guess, but it's just so boring. Woohoo! Play the game and use codes to cheat the system. Anyway, the best way to do this one is just find an empty server. People will kill you for any reason possible because there's full of trolls. I would rate this game probably a out of 10, but yeah, it's nothing. So repeat what Muscle Legends had, where people will kill you to reset your chi. It's also broken, like, it's incredibly broken and inconsistent. It's really easy to beat, but like, there's nothing to this. The floor is lava is what people say is wrong with their generation, and though they put a little more effort in compared to the other games, it's an easy broken mess of a game still that just requires a lot of waiting around until you get the obby. And the obby is really easy to complete, it's just more or less praying to God that other things will break along the way. Honestly, just try and server hop until you can find this server, because the game itself is easy and boring. I don't know how it has a player base at all with the amount of brain rot in it. There's nothing added, you just go around killing boars. It's boring. Yeah, it's just the bottom of the barrel stuff again. At least with the bike obby, the reason why I liked it is because the bike was easy to control. The snowboard sucks at controlling, and also, if you want to beat it, go AFK for 15 minutes. Who would want to play your game, and who wants to just repeat another bike obby with a crappier physics engine? That's actually me. That's actually the time I won the egg. That's me. This event sucks as the egg will spawn in a random location and you have to be the first one to pick it up. And then if you don't, you have to pray to God that you're either the werewolf or detective to kill the person to get the egg, or you have to wait about 5 to 6 minutes for the next game to start. On top of that, if you are a survivor, have a fun time trying not to get killed by the werewolf. And on top of everything beyond that, this game is the exact copy it was 4 years ago. Yes, this is a carbon copy of the exact event they put out 4 years ago in the last egg hunt. I remember it because I hated it then too, and still hate it to this day as they've done nothing to change it. Werewolf, this event is 4 years old and no one liked it last time. Why didn't you put a bit of effort into it this time? This dress-up game is already full of a bunch of people who just hate on your outfit for any reason possible, and also, if you join late, then you're not going to be able to start the quest until the round's over. On top of that, you have to play an extra 2 additional rounds where the bunnies will basically make it so you can't even play the game if you even wanted to, while they also run into a VIP-only area. I don't know what they were thinking about this thing, but it's an even more annoying collect quest, but it will give you, I guess, an item if you want to play the game. Football Season 2 is the worst out of all 3 of the sports games because it has the worst mission that makes it so you have to physically play 1 to 3 games if no one passes you the ball, while your team not only kills the experienced players, but the experienced players will never pass towards you, and also it looks like a PS1 generated these graphics. Why did they pick another football game that was just worse than the previous one? I think a lot of people are going to be actually surprised it's made it this far up on the list, but it's still a very bad game overall, don't get me wrong. Not only did it add nothing or really any reason for veterans to even try and play, it just takes forever to get that third and final chest. The first 2 are piece of cakes, but that last one, everyone is complaining about. If you want to beat this one, focus primarily on chests in general, as they'll give you quick money to upgrade your weapons. And also, if you have a friend who's played this game, just get them to cheese the hell out of this event for you, or even just find an experienced player. Yeah, I was not happy with this one, especially for how long it has been out in the Roblox landscape. Oh, woohoo! Another RP, just what we needed. And in this one, you make A smoothie. Wow. How does this relate to the event at all? This is awful. It's so uncreative and lazy. Yeah, I hope games like this just don't get put back into the egg hunt ever again if they're gonna be this lazy. Brookhaven, you're supposed to set the example for everyone, not make a walk-in sim where you have to collect over 30 eggs scattered around the map. Like, really? This is all you could come up with? Yeah, uncreative for the most popular version of this. This is the most complex 0 to 10 I will give, because a lot of people will think that these riddles are unique. They're not unique at all, because it was used in the last egg hunt where they got their thing removed because they were whining over getting dislike bombed. They're getting dislike bombed again. I don't know why they were invited back onto this, but okay, let's see what the riddles have to say. The riddles are easy and they are cheesy. You don't have to worry about them at all. In fact, I'm more worried about the cops down the hall because they will constantly try and arrest you for every little motion you have to do. It's also not told this, but you only have to collect 3 out of the 10 eggs, unless you want the actual full-on badge, but who's playing this GTA 5 knockoff when there's better ones out there anyway? On top of everything, the map is so big that if you're a new player to this, have fun trying to figure out where anything is. Oh, by the way, with the money you start out on, you can just buy hints and collect all 3 eggs in like under 5 minutes. I don't know why no one talks about this, and you get 1 for free every 10 minutes. If you get dislike bombed both times you make an event in the egg hunt games, then maybe it's time to stop making them and start improving your own game. Now that I've gone over the games I want to go more in detail to, I'm going to step back and just do a speed run so you guys don't have to be here for 1 hour. Maple Hospital is the last game I'm going to cover in detail due to how poor it was. The only reason why I gave it a 1 out of 10 is because I guess the concept was kind of unique, but it was such a game that just made you stick around longer to cash out that premium pay like many other games. The funny thing is, half the time the arrows were broken or you couldn't even get into the bunker for the longest period of time, which maybe give it a 0 out of 10 originally. But now that even when it is fixed, it doesn't even make sense. Half of the dialogue is just pure nonsense. And on top of all that, the final thing is just burning down eggs. No final boss fight, no reward in the end, just burning eggs for like 5 minutes straight. I don't know why Roblox even picked any RP games, because they've all been 0 or 1 out of 10 so far, and this has been near 20 rankings. Undead Defense Tycoon is just a past Easter event they already had, shown by this. I already had 100 when I joined this, and people who don't have this have to play through a long killing game of zombie kill after zombie kill. This is just a better version of Brookhaven's game. Instead of 30 eggs, you only collected 4 artifacts. The arrow can sometimes break, and even at the end, you don't even get a final animation for completing everything. Yeah, it was a really nothingsburg. More stale than the bag of chips I left open from last Christmas. You play 2 dimensions of this. That's it. You get nothing special for it. It's just holding W and spamming attacks. A bird pressing the keyboard could beat this event. Wow, another simulator that takes about 20 minutes to beat. Yay, I'm so happy. At least you get something out of it. It's like the one. Waste 30 minutes collecting over 100 time shards. Haha, you're too slow. A more complex yet faster version of the Brookhaven event. That's it. This is just a walk-in sim. A giant walk-in sim. I only put this up here because I think it's a little unique. I don't even know. I never played this game, nor do I want to play it after this. I am so happy I played this early because apparently they buffed the event people were already complaining about. You just play the game, but it just takes forever, and it's actually a pretty hard game to play for a lot of people. It takes 13 minutes to beat World 1, so you have to beat 4 worlds and get top 3 in a race. If this event was still going on, then here's how you have to beat it. This game was actually broken early on. If you beat the 3rd quest, you'd be done, but if not, then you have to do it the hard way, where you go into a private server, beat a race, after that, steal that bike, and then just cheese everything. It is just pure like time wasting. The only reason why I gave it a 1 out of 10 though, because you do get something for it, and at the very minimum, it was a hard challenge. I will give it that. Oh yay, another simulator. The good thing is you can cheese this thing with all the event items they have to push around to get kids to constantly keep playing this brain rot.
Let's start this exam by checking your temperature.
But that's a taser.
No.
This is like 30 minutes of unnecessary driving, and when you finally get one of the pieces, you then have to play a minigame. The minigames are like the only reason why I even put it slightly above the list, just due to its slight creativity, but even sometimes the lobbies are broken. Wow, another collect game. I'm so thrilled. The only good thing about this one is it is a smaller condensed map from the middle, but also the community here is toxic for a military game. Like, did someone say 6 minutes of soccer? Well, no? Well, too bad. I think the Smash project is a little too much flack. I don't think it's great whatsoever, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. If you join a small server, you'll probably have a better chance of racing towards it, but if you want more of a rush, join a popular server and just get a little lucky. That's about it. It's nothing great, but it's not awful. Time to make an original comment saying, Connor, go to sleep. Why did Roblox even choose this game? I don't remember the last time anyone said, hey, you wanna go play hide and seek in Roblox? There's so many games that do a better concept than this and probably would have done a better event than just play 2 rounds and win them. Whoa! And wait 3 minutes during the lobby intermissions. Another drive and fetch quest. Oh, really? That sounds like a lot of fun. The only reason why I put this a little higher is I think the photos were a neat addition. That was literally it. That was it. It's almost like I'm desperately trying to give you a leg to stand on. I can understand a hatred towards this one, but you can go to a game mode that makes it so you just AFK these points. And the obby itself is pretty difficult. It has a nice challenge to it, which I actually enjoyed a lot more. Although I have to say, if you did not know about this game mode thing, this was miserable to play. Like, I did not know about these game modes, and I had to play the whole thing. Make it to merge. This one can take a while, and I have to say, the best way to do this is honestly to get voted out with 75 coins, because then you can just play the rejoin challenge, and usually most people are gone by then. Try and find small servers so you can probably just get right into merge sometimes. So without knowing, you have to drive to a truck place, get the job there, then make a 10-kilometer delivery. Wow, that sounds thrilling. Also, there's a small chance you won't even get it your first time and actually have to replay or join a different server. Yes, I understand this game's cringe, but it had a lot of potential of going back to the classic egg-style hunt. And then it fails miserably because it thinks a bush is a tree, and it's not a bush, it's a tree! One of the eggs involves you trading away one of your characters. Like, why make that an egg? That's a really bad egg. If you played the event earlier, you originally had to beat the entire lobby without missing a single donut. Now they just put it all over here. Instead of making the event fun, they just made it easier so people would stop complaining. Hang on a second, this is Buy Gobby? No, it's pretty much just Buy Gobby without the obby and just the race, and also RNG for the race to spawn. This entire game is just about self-sabotaging your team so you can waste as much time as you can and avoid intermissions. Honestly, it's still one of the better ones of the sports game. That's the only reason why I put it up this high. There's RNG to already get the map, then there's RNG to actually get good questions that won't kill you on the spot or make absolutely no sense, and ones you've already known. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this one, since it's a lot of RNG and less trivia. Half the time you go up against NPCs, but they're always on the top of the map, which just makes it hard and tedious to collect half these items. It's just a shooter game again. This badge was a quick, easy in and out, because all you had to do was get to wave 10 on story mode 1. How are you supposed to know that? Yeah, you don't know that, because they won't tell you that. Also, you only added 1 enemy, so it's not really that original. This is the last one on the 4 out of 10 list. We're now getting to 5 out of 10. Whoa, maybe they'll improve. Well, guys, I hope you brought your boxy colas, because we're gonna be here for quite a while. Everything in the 5 out of 10 category is either you join then leave immediately, or you join, play the game for a tiny bit, then leave immediately. Collect 20 pets. I joined and immediately got it. Holding W simulator, that's it. Complete 1 tycoon, it's a tycoon. Complete not even the full tycoon, it's a tycoon. Kill a bunch of level 1 boars, that's it. Complete the dungeon twice, because that's all you really need to do. Serve a couple customers, but slower than Restaurant Tycoon 2. Serve a couple customers, but even faster. Basically do chores, I'm not even joking. Crush your car. You guys have been around for so long and that's all you can come up with? Shoot people with paintball guns. Also, why is there a second version? This is much worse. Kill things like you're supposed to. It's kind of fun killing things. Play the game, but not the full game. Why would you want to do that? Escape the head. Basically complete 4 levels of the game. Serve customers, but I guess the best edition of it. First off, why did you pick this? Second off, the PvP in this sucked. Though, thank you guys for putting in a valid effort. You guys just got screwed over because what is your game supposed to do? Yes, the event is interesting, but Slap Battles itself has fallen from grace. Not only is it more pay to play now, but also to new players, you're gonna die a lot to people. And there's gonna be people camping the castle entrance constantly, especially since you can't even do this in a private server. Also, like, half the people are banned from Slap Battles, so why was this even picked? I like this version of the take on the collecting eggs because you have to take photos with it, which actually uses the feature in the game, while on top of that, it's in a small confined area, so you don't have to worry about running around the map for 30 minutes straight. This is a very specific target audience, and if you're not a part of it, you're probably not going to enjoy this event, though I will admit the race was, I guess, a unique spin on things. Nothing too big, though. The animation and map created for this thing was awesome. The only thing is it has way too many items you have to collect, and the monster is constantly stuck to the point where you can't even sometimes try and get yourself killed by it. This badge depends on how good your team is versus the other team, because either you have to win this event or collect 15 eggs. I just don't find it super original as a bad ideas concept, and on top of that, some people couldn't even get it. They did do good on the event-wise by making it actually unique, but when it came to the execution of it, yeah, I'm gonna be the first one to probably say this. The event was pretty poor. It was very time-consuming. Get it? Because time machines. One was a long tile thing, which, yeah, you do get some checkpoints, but you'll die and it'll probably waste about 2 minutes. The next one's just a long, ooh, which basket is it in? For 5 times. Why 5? Why not just 3? On top of that, and then you have to collect 5 crabs. Wow. Awesome. This also just takes maps from past events, which I think could have been done well if they did more with it. Though you did have to play the game, it wasn't super difficult. I like the achievement edition and the little eggs added, but there wasn't too much on the actual event-wise when it comes to playing, so I put it at this part of the list. Though I did find this to have a nice challenge, I wish they added more to the game instead of just adding an objective list, especially since you can just re-roll the bad one that actually would give you a challenge, because no one wants to actually do those hard ones. Editor Nate here. I didn't know about this until just now. I'd probably just bump it up maybe 1 tier, but yeah. It doesn't take too long. The clock edition's not too bad, and I think depending on the disaster, it can lead to some actual challenge. I do feel pretty underwhelmed by it still, though. I really like Carry the Friend event. The only reason why I put it down this low is because even though they made a whole event, you have to get lucky with a teammate you get. You're probably gonna get paired with some noob who doesn't know anything and is on their iPad, which can get pretty annoying. But I think out of everything, they did the best they could, and this is more on Roblox. At first, when the event first came out, you didn't have to worry about having any experience to actually complete it. Now they decided to change that, and if I were to play it then, I would have gave it a -1 as well, because it's just a copy of every other thing. But I'm gonna go off of this version of the event. It's actually pretty fun. You don't just have to play the game, it has a whole unique map and everything. Why did they change it? I have no idea. There's more planned for it, it's not limited, you get a free knife skin, and as long as you don't get a try-hard killer, this should be a pretty easy badge. I think this is fine here. A good version of the egg hunt mixed in with a bit of hints. I think the only issue with this is not only how I soft-locked myself twice in this game somehow, but also the map is very large and takes a long time to explore. Lumber Tycoon is still getting recognized, which is really insane for how old the game is. I thought the concept was really well done, though a little confusing at times because, well, it is a very old game. I was sad with the destroy system though. I destroyed the egg like 4 times, so I thought I had to break it open. But I found this one to be pretty interesting. It was pretty simple. I do wish there was slightly more to it, but hey, not bad. This was definitely a very interesting take on the hunt, but I have to say it did have some issues. It was way too easy and kind of forgettable, especially with the whole story-wise. I do think it added a lot to the game, but for some reason it removed it before the hunt was even over, so a lot of people couldn't even experience it. Why they did this, I have no idea. There's also some glitches that allowed you to cheese it a bit.
Pizza!
Cheeseburger.
I do say it has a small little bit of a challenge to it, and it has an entire map, but it's still pretty easy and pretty slow as well. This had a lot to it, but also was a little underwhelming. You have a button clicking game, then you have to go through a small maze to collect 3 shards, and then you have to go through an obby. They expanded the world a lot, but there's a lot of things when it comes to bugginess and just general over difficulty factor. The boss was a piece of cake, and I'm pretty sure you can cheese. Oh yeah, there you go, you can cheese it. Whatever, I think this is a pretty fair spot for it. I'm a little on the fence about this one, because I don't know if the Guardian was added in or not, but even then, it's not super difficult. It basically shows you the gimmick of the game, and even adds a small little challenge for newer players. But if you make a club, you should be able to beat this pretty fast. Try and go into a private server because they're free, or you will get probably killed by someone else. The issue I have with this game is that it's just really easy. I think the story was really well done and the event was put together well, but it's just so easy. I wish there was more of a challenge to it. They incorporate the game into its event pretty well, giving you a free card that you actually have to build to complete the event. The only issues I have with it is that it does take a bit of a while, but also, if you change your car, you'll have to restart the entire mission, and also some other small things can cause you to restart the entire mission. Other than that, I think this was actually a pretty decent event. Whoa, a simulator that's actually able to use its mechanics and not just make it, oh guys, you need to grind for 40 hours straight. Yeah, it's a really good one. I think the rope mechanic and the obstacle course is very challenging. I like this one a lot. It's simple, but it's nice that the game called Spray Paint makes you use, the spray paint cans to draw an image of the thief that stole the spray paints. The only issue I have with this one is I wish they actually used the dogs instead of just making you collect more spray paint cans. Probably would have gave that a 10 out of 10 then. Though definitely not my demographic for a game, putting that aside, I think this was actually a pretty decent method if it was 2018. Though I have to say, I do still like it. I think going around collecting eggs with a competitive aspect lets other people who don't want to do the hunt still have fun. The little tripping in between and dropping eggs, though yes, annoying, was actually kind of funny to me. Though I have to say getting frozen in place for around 30 seconds did suck. The animation to this was awesome, and I love this little puzzle they have in between. There's so much good going on. I just think that the mining process was way too much. Reduced it to like 500 diamonds, and this is an easy 10 out of 10. Though the puzzles aren't really anything special and overcomplicated like usual, that's more of just how Piggy is. I think making 2 whole new maps is pretty awesome for a game, even if the experienced players pretty much didn't let me experience any of that. Thanks guys, I mean, I appreciate the egg, I guess. Creating a whole unique, not too difficult but still a challenging boss fight, this is awesome! The only thing I would say is I wish they would either take away the experienced players' new weapons because it just makes it go by way too fast and not give new players the actual challenge they deserve, but also make it so the experienced players can just carry them all the way through. Honestly, if they made this thing a solo thing, I think that would be so much more difficult. Look how Connor has to deal with this thing when it's in its solo phase. Like, that would be so much fun. This event was actually really interesting with a fully animated and voice acted scene. I found this awesome. And how instead of you having to collect all the eggs by yourself, you have a team of players all going around doing it. And at the end of it all, the bunny doesn't kill you. It just is a nuisance. It hinders your progress, but doesn't make things annoying. And I like this a lot about this event. But in the end, it's still just another collect event, so I'm not giving this a 10 out of 10. I really like this event. I was really scared when it says collect this many items, but it surprised me by opening up a portal. And I have to say, this was a refresher. It was a unique and goofy challenge that wasn't super overly difficult, but still had a challenging aspect to it after collecting the crystals. I do think the crystal part was kind of unneeded, and maybe just 1 or even 2 of them would have been fine, and I do think it should have been more clear with its instructions, but in the end, this is so much better than a lot of the other bad ones. Though I do hope to see more games like this chosen in the future for the hunt. This was by far probably the most frustrating and difficult one to get, but I had a lot of fun doing it still. I think the map was crafted really well. I do wish they dialed back the difficulty or at least put a checkpoint at the 50 point mark. These games really went far and beyond, and I like this one for its fixed towers so you don't have to worry about strategizing anything and have the towers already for new players to not have to worry about grinding. On top of all of that, as the game goes on, the map changes with extra lore included. This was a fantastic way to do this. Whoa, a game has been updated in 2 years, making at least, I hope so, 4 original new tracks that people will play? Yeah, this was pretty fun. It wasn't too difficult, but still had a challenge for new players. Though I love how in every video I still get included into an FNF video, mother! The style and cutscene really fit with the overall time travel theme that the event's going for, with a fun rhythm game where the notes even move to give an extra challenge to the player. The animation of this was very fun, though a little creepy at times. I enjoyed this a lot. Yes, I get it's another rhythm game, but this time it's based off Parappa the Rapper, which was another fun twist. And when he said, "Hey battler, are you a time traveler?" Damn, this was fun and enjoyable. Arsenal went above and beyond and made an engaging, intense mission that even kept me on the edge of my seat sometimes. It was really fun, a little forgiving, but was not too difficult for new players. I had a blast playing this, and when I saw this, it made me hopeful, and then I played another simulator game, and I lost all that hope immediately. This game not only includes horror elements, but also has problem solving and combat. It's not super difficult, but still will lend you a bit of a challenge depending on what game mode you play it on. There's so much fun into this game and so much lore and story-wise that makes you think, what the hell were the other events even doing compared to this? There's so much going on here, and you can tell the passion put into it. And even that final run scene and the custom-made music for the whole thing, it was so tied together perfectly. I hope more games can take a page out of this book and do this. I've never been the hugest fan of Doors, but I had to say, this is by far the best event. Not only adding an entirely new game mode, but an entire new mechanism. This allows experienced players to have a reason to not only play this, but also have a fun time speedrunning and pushing themselves to their limits, while allowing new players to learn and adapt over time to the difficult challenge, while not making it impossible like steep steps. This was a fun experience that I even went back to and played a couple times over again, and it's one that I hope they keep around in the back storage even though the event's over now, because it was a very fun experience that was a kind of fast one and in and out, and you wouldn't have to worry about so much trial and error, but enough for you to actually play the game multiple times over again. Doors clearly has a passion for the community itself, and I cannot wait to see more from them. And I have to say, this is by far the best of the entire game. And with everything being said, let's see why everything was bad. When looking into it all, there's a clear reason why this event was very bad compared to everything else. I wouldn't say it's horrible, more just very mid. It was an experiment done by Roblox to continue the egg event after it was cancelled in 2020, and I have to say, I'm happy they did this experiment, though they did it pretty poorly. First off, the items should never have to be paid for. All the items should be free like they've always been, and I would recommend including more items and not in this battle type format. And next off, increase the timer a bit. It wasn't even Easter when this event had ended, and on top of everything on that, completing over 100 games while people are still in school is near impossible for the most demographic that is gonna play this. With everything else being said, some of the games you chose were just repetitive all to hell. You kinda just went into the recommended page and chose whatever was on there, and if you just cut the games from 100 down to at least 50, this allows a lot more breathing room. On top of everything, people should be rewarded if they collect all 100 badges, but you didn't do that, and instead of making adjustments so people could get that 100 badges, you just decided, meh, we're just gonna make it 95 now. There was also a lack of, well, an ending at all. After the entire timer was out, there was no ending, which made me just really disappointed. I waited nearly 30 minutes for, well, nothing. You also picked a lot of games that were very similar or nearly identical. 2 military tycoons, couple sports games, multiple complete an obby with blank. And on top of that, a lot of RP games that made no sense. You also did no greenlight in this process, which made a lot of crappy games slip by and make more people aggressive. Because looking at the total score, a 4.3 average out of 10 is a failing grade. It's not grand at all. I don't think I would say I was miserable playing this, but it was definitely not an experience I would want to repeat if possible. On top of all that, I mostly giving flack to a lot of the developers, where some of them would not only reuse previous Easter egg events or egg events, but a lot of them would also just be there to get a premium farm. This is your time to shine. This is your time to get people interested in your game, but instead of doing that, you just push everyone away. I went back to the SCP roleplay because it got me interested. I went back to Doors, even though I've never played it before, and got interested. In fact, I even went to play Steep Steps a little more because it was a fun experience that challenged me. In final words, I want to turn to a more positive note and talk about games I hope to see in the future. Games such as Defusal, where you have to defuse a bomb, could easily be made into an Easter egg, and I think that could be a fun challenge. Project Lazarus has been a very popular zombies game for a while, and I've been recommended by multiple people. Average Plague game based off of Plates of Chaos could be a very fun addition, especially since they've already done events before. Aperiophobia is a backrooms type of game, and that's very popular on the website right now. I know a lot of people don't agree with this one, so I would recommend The World's End, a better take on this concept of the backroom. Hidden in Plain Sight 2 is another fun game I could easily see being picked up for this. Radiant Residence is a fun take on 60 Seconds, adding a lot of new concepts. It could be an easy way to add another fun twist onto the event. Item Asylum has always been a fun game that has a lot of goofy chaos and stands out from a lot of other previous games. Evade has been recommended so many times by so many people, and Netbox is still very popular within the Roblox community. Free the Facility has been around for so long, and another game that's similar to that is Zombie Rush. These games have been around for a long time and been included in events and still update their games. Road Beats is another fun rhythm game that has done multiple events before and could easily be featured in the next hunt. An Infinite Road Trip is another fun, chaotic game that is just goofy fun and could even benefit people with an extra soda. Speed Draw is another fun speed draw game that has a lot of artists flocking to it to try and see if they can one-up amateur drawers. Regenerator is a fun take on the old elevator games where you would sit in the elevator and hope for a random event to happen. I think this is another great one that could be included into the next year hunt. And there's probably many more that I'm missing. But for now, I think I've talked on long enough. I'm going to sleep and I'm gonna go study for like 25 final exams. Good night, everyone. Hey, thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you like it, please like and subscribe so I know this is the content you guys want to keep seeing in the future. I know I've been doing a lot of FNF ranking things and I continue to do them, but I would like to branch off into ranking some other things. I know school's been keeping me busy, but you guys have been a massive support throughout the whole thing, still keeping engagement. And I have to thank you for all that. Without you guys, I wouldn't even think YouTube was a possibility for me. So, major shout out to y'all. Golden Apples is still under review and I'm sorry it's taken so long. I should be done everything in April and hope to release a massive wave of content. With everything being said, have a good day. Bye!